The ground you're looking for is not out there. It never was. We don't want to be asking the questions, how can I feel less anxious? How do I get my life under control? The work of rooting is the work of coming home to the one place you never actually left. As women shift into the second half of life, everything around us begins to shift. And pretty soon, we struggle to find our footing. Maybe it started slowly for you. Maybe it was a feeling of unease that doesn't quite have a name. Or maybe it arrived more suddenly with a transition you didn't choose or maybe weren't quite ready for, like an empty nest, or a shift in your work, or a marriage that doesn't quite feel the same, a body that seems to constantly keep changing faster than you can keep up with it, or maybe a parent who's aging and a sense that the life you carefully built no longer fits the woman that you're becoming. And underneath all of it, you feel a restlessness, a struggle to truly settle, an exhaustion that even sleep doesn't seem to touch. That sense that even in your own home, in your own skin, you don't quite belong anymore. If any part of that sounds like you, I want you to know there's a way through this that almost no one is really naming, and it's much closer to you than you've been told previously. Welcome to Soul Knows the Way, a podcast for women in the second half of life who sense a soul hunger they can no longer ignore, a longing for depth, truth, and a life lived from the inside out. I'm Kim Marie, soul guide and author, and I'm here to walk that journey with you. Welcome to the show. In our last conversation, I named something that I believe is the silent epidemic of our time: soul sickness. The doing everything right and still feeling lost, feeling empty, feeling numb. I also shared that I've spent years developing a sacred map for finding our way back. 7 keys to reclaim your soul. There's a link for that in the description. Today, we're going to begin the journey through these 7 keys. And we begin where every journey home must begin, with the ground, our foundation. Most women experiencing this groundless feeling are being given the wrong medicine for it. We're told to manage our anxiety, to organize our calendars, to optimize our routines. These miss the actual source of the unsettling. I'm going to take us underneath all of these symptoms today. We're going to the real ground of our lives. So let's settle in, grab a cup of tea, and let's tune into this ground of our own experience. This experience of feeling ungrounded or feeling unmoored, like maybe we are just a ship without an anchor floating off at sea, it has a particular shape, we could say, okay? So many women carry these symptoms without ever knowing that they belong together, without ever knowing that they have a name, that they are part of something specific, okay? Now, what we want to do is take a look at these different expressions and begin to see how they weave together within us. You might feel a constant buzz of this being on the go all the time, busy, 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 busy. Your body can't fully stop. Even when you're meant to stop, you struggle to slow down, to pause, to relax. Maybe you're just so used to being busy that you can't even settle when you have the opportunity to, or you maybe feel guilty if you do on some level. There might be this emotional disconnect in terms of an incapacity to settle. You might feel anxiety with no clear source of it, like sort of this free-floating uneasiness. Now, this could be a lot of different things, and I'll be doing episodes in the future about things like anxiety because it's such a big challenge for so many these days, and it can come from so many different sources. But ultimately, what we want to know about this feeling of being untethered, you could say, is that often anxiety comes with it or might be a sign of that lack of tethering. We may struggle also to be present. We're kind of drifting in and out of conversations. We're scrolling through our moments, right? We're not able to be fully connected to what we're doing. I wonder how connected you're feeling right now. We might even have a restlessness, like a physical restlessness sometimes, or an emotional restlessness, and sort of a feeling like we're supposed to be someplace else. We might constantly be seeking validation outside of ourselves and wondering if what we're doing is okay, if it's acceptable, if this person or that person likes it. We might have difficulty making decisions, not because we have a lack of wisdom, not at all, even though we might tell ourselves that sometimes, but more from this lack of ground, this lack of foundation beneath us. The transitions of this time are asking us to find our ground inside of ourselves because so much of what used to hold us up is shifting. Everything is changing, not just our bodies and our minds and our emotions, but let's take a look at the outer world. Things are happening in the second half of life and in the greater world at large today. In my own life, I went through years of survival mode. I was just moving constantly, fantasizing about the next place that I could go to, wondering how to, move on from this to that, and felt this indecisiveness. And this indecisiveness is a symptom of having no solid ground. I certainly was seeking authority outside of myself, teachers, gurus, doctors, partners, all of those kinds of things. And ultimately, I was not even recognizing where I stood in my life, not even seeing the ground beneath me. And of course, we get told to manage our anxiety with the apps, the breathing exercises. We get told to optimize our work and our mindset and to take supplements, maybe journal harder. And it's not that anything is wrong or that these tools are wrong, but they can tend to miss what's actually happening. What's actually happening is that a woman in the second half of life is being asked to find a kind of ground she's never been taught to find before, an inner ground, an inner foundation. This cannot depend on circumstances or roles or relationships or productivity or our health. None of these things she can even control, right? None of these things this woman in the second half of life can control. And all of which are constantly changing. So we're not going to find our ground out there, out in the outer wilderness. We need to find it within ourselves, which is much more difficult than we might think. I have clients that I've spoken to that talk about, well, I feel like I want the stability of living in this or that place or having this or that situation. And I always draw them back to what is the stability that the soul is communicating. We are being asked to come home to the belonging that lives inside of ourselves. So that's what we want to be focusing on. The ground you're looking for is not out there. It never was. Although we've certainly been told long enough that, yes, that's where to look. Look outside, look here, look there, right? But true security and belonging are not our house. They're not our relationship. They are not the answers we seek. They are not the plans we're making. They're not the achievements and the awards, right? They're inherent qualities of soul that are within us. They live inside of us, and they always have. That is the beauty of this. We get to tap into this. These keys to reclaim your soul are within us. So these keys in the guide that is downloadable free in the description, and maybe you have the download because the download comes with this accompanying audio for you. And we go in a series. I purposely did this from this key one, the root, because without the ground beneath us, without that presence, we can't move into the next keys, which are the emptying, the claiming, the loving, the articulating, the intuiting, and the midwifing. We have to first remember the ground within. We have to belong to ourselves, belong to the earth, belong to the here and now, to the present moment. Rooting is not creating something new, it's remembering what's already there. It's not forcing or making or building or returning. It's simply a being. It's feet on the ground, feet on the earth, presencing, being here in this moment, in this body, on this earth. Now, what's interesting about these keys is that each one is actually connected to these energy centers within our bodies. And this key one of rooting is connected to the root chakra, the base of the spine. Now, the root chakra, the energy in the root chakra is very associated with a sense of safety, a sense of security, a sense of home. So, no wonder we may feel untethered when we're not rooted. It's a sense of earth connection, connection to life itself. There's archetypes that we might see that offer this picture. I love working with different archetypes, and I work with all kinds of archetypes. It doesn't matter what religion, what mythology, what philosophy, what fairy tale. I love working with all of them. And one that I've always been really connected to is this image. I believe it's in the book of Revelations. Forgive me if I'm quoting that wrong, but it is this vision of the woman with the moon under her feet and the crown of stars. And there are many paintings of this. It's a vision of the Virgin Mary, the Great Mother, and the moon under her feet and a crown of stars. Even the Our Lady of Guadalupe, the images of her typically have this radiating, beautiful surround, this radiance around her, but then she's standing on the moon. This notion of the moon being underfoot is also a beautiful archetype for this ground of our being. This is the foundation, our ability to deal with our emotions, to find emotional stability, to keep a certain level of faith, and to have trust. We don't want to be asking the questions, how can I feel less anxious? How do I stop feeling so untethered? How do I get my life back? How do I get my life under control? These are the wrong questions to be asking. That is not going to lead us back to the ground and the center. What we want to be asking ourselves is, what would it feel like to belong to myself again? What if I never actually lost my ground? What if I just forgot how to feel it? The ground is here. The earth is here. Your body is here. Your soul is here. None of it ever left. You just maybe stopped feeling it, stopped being connected to it. And it's challenging in a world that's constantly trying to pull us in a million different directions and take us out of it. We've become rather disembodied, actually, in our culture, which sounds silly. You wouldn't think we'd be walking around disembodied, and yet we are. There's a fragmentation of the soul happening for so many of us where we are not in our bodies. Aspects through our traumas, through our histories, have caused us to leave our bodies, or at least have parts of ourselves leave our bodies. And the work of rooting is the work of coming home to the one place you never actually left. And yet, maybe you never really inhabited. That's your body and your sense of full presence. That's what we're aiming for here with this root key. All right. I want to take a few moments to actually do this rooting with you as an invitation for you to step into the fullness of your being. Now, if you're in a place where you can pause and be still, that's wonderful. If you're driving or walking or maybe moving around listening to this, just let my voice be with you and notice what happens in your own body. That's kind of the cool magic of this process, of this simplicity of rooting. You can actually benefit from doing it, from turning this key to root, to reclaim your soul, no matter what you're doing. So stay with me here because you may be surprised at how simple this actually is in the process of this, okay? So the first thing we want to do is just begin to tap into, to notice what being unrooted feels like right now. Not to fix it. We don't want to go there yet. Just notice, like, oh, am I actually untethered right now? Am I fully connected to what I'm doing? Am I thinking about other things? What's going on in my heart, my mind, my emotions? Okay? Where in the body does it show up? Do you feel a tightness maybe in your chest, or like a frantic buzzing in your head? Or maybe you're clenching your jaw, or your belly feels kind of hollow or maybe tight, or like there's a pit in your stomach, or maybe your legs are feeling restless. Like you don't want to be still. You don't want to think about this. That leads to maybe what emotions are present. Like, oh, this, come on, Kim, this is dumb. We don't need to do this. But actually, that's exactly what begins to tell us we do. Okay? Because when we are so uncomfortable actually being with ourselves in a moment, that's an indication that there's a lack of rootedness here. We also might want to pay attention to what stories our mind has been telling us, like, oh, this is stupid, right? Awareness is the soil in which our presence grows. So it's all about noticing. It's all about being in the moment, right here, right now. So maybe right here in this moment together, we could receive a deep breath and slowly exhale and just let that breath come out right through the soles of your feet, through your tailbone, all the way in. You can do that again if you wish. All the way in and let it out long and slow. And as you do, feel the weight of your body meeting the surface beneath you. Maybe it's just feeling your feet if you're standing, or even if you're driving, just feel the feet on the pedals. Maybe you're sitting or you're laying down. Feel the weight of your body in the soles of your feet or at the chair where it's meeting it. Maybe receive another deep breath and just let that go. Oh, the breath is so helpful for getting us in our body if we can actually tune into it when we do it. All right? We can literally imagine that we have roots extending from our tailbone down through our legs, through the soles of our feet, slowly and easily with no force. Just let those roots begin to extend down through the floor, through your foundation of your home, or through the car if you're driving, or through the layers of the earth, the stone layers, the rock layers, the deep layers of Mother Earth, all the way down into the heart of the Great Mother. Can you actually feel that? Are you actually able to feel that anchoring from your tailbone down, from the soles of your feet, just in this moment, just listening to my voice while at the same time feeling your feet beneath you or the seat beneath you? Feeling the pressure of the chair pushing up against your body as your body presses down against the chair or the sofa or wherever you are. This is this deep connection to our sustenance, to the Great Mother. Mother Earth is unceasingly offering us nourishment and sustenance, a sense of security to every being who walks upon her surface. She doesn't ask us to earn it. She doesn't ask us to pay her back. She doesn't ask whether or not we deserve it. The only thing that she asks is that we take a moment to actually receive it, to actually be with her sustenance. So, can you receive right now, in this moment? Receive the warmth, feel the weight, step into the belonging that is inherent. Draw the sustenance up through the soles of your feet, through your roots that you sent down deep into the heart of the earth, through your legs. Feel it in your pelvic bowl. This is where our center of gravity lives. Feel it in the hips and the belly. Feel it drawing up all the way into your chest. Fill yourself up with this. Maybe receive another breath. And on the exhale, just feel the weight of your body again. Feel the temperature of the air on your skin. Notice what's different as you've sensed this, as you've come into actually tuning into your body. Do you feel your body differently right now? Do you feel any different emotions or thoughts? Are you noticing any discomfort at all? It's okay to have some discomfort. Maybe there's a discomfort that wants to, not trust this, or you want to rush past it. These are worth noticing. Notice what's comfortable too. Kim, I was more comfortable just going about my day and not really thinking about this. That might be what's showing up for you. Often for us, being unrooted is what's familiar, and what's familiar is often what's comfortable. It's normal, it's natural to be uncomfortable in the new. That's real. And it's also okay to be comfortable with the old. Both are welcome. We're just noticing here. This root key is to notice. That's where you get the ground of your being. You start to notice, where am I right now? Right? What is happening for me right now? How can I make a shift in this moment without feeling like I have to fix anything? Just shift my awareness. That's it. So often we're focused on shifting our doing. And what we're talking about here is so much more subtle. This rooting, this is what the root key is asking you to do. It's so foundational, literally, pun intended, so simple. It's not complicated. It's a practice that we can do. Just this, noticing, presencing over and over again throughout our day, as many times as you need, with your feet on the ground, your breath in the body, and your roots into the earth, your sense of belonging remembered. That's it. That's the practice. And once we've found this, we can begin to return to it anywhere, anytime. We don't need a meditation cushion. We don't need a special fancy practice or studio to go to. We don't need a special space or an hour of quiet. We don't have to wait until we have time to do it right. We don't have to wait for permission or even for the kids to stop running around or the partner to stop talking at us or the demands of the workplace to move on or whatever it is that we're feeling like we're holding and we're carrying. Right in the middle of all of that, right here, right now. I did that exercise with you. I felt the roots coming out as I'm talking to you in this moment, recording a podcast for you. We can do this washing dishes. I do it daily with my dishes, my laundry, my walking, even my sleeping. As I fall asleep, I tune in to, how's my body doing? What does it feel like to just lay here and be held? I do it standing at the kitchen sink with my feet on the floor and the breath in my body and touching and feeling the soapy warm water or the dishes in my hand. I just tune into it. You can do it sitting at a red light instead of grabbing the phone and scrolling. What if you actually just, okay, I'm here now in this moment. I feel the weight of my body meeting the car seat and the car seat meeting my body. We can do this in a difficult conversation as we get better at this. A lot of times, those moments where we are confronted or, challenged with something like that, we end up feeling as though we've left our body. And we can just take one breath and notice our feet and bring ourselves back in. We can do this while we're walking outside, letting the earth meet us with every step. I like to imagine like a cycling of touching in and being touched. We can do this before a decision that feels really big. Pause, root, and ask ourselves the question from the ground and foundation of our being. When we get better at practicing this in each moment, the anxiety begins to ease. The decisions become clearer. The sense of belonging begins to fill in. And maybe it's not all at once. It can often happen slowly, but this is the way roots grow, right? They grow deeper, they grow firmer. You are not all that is swirling around you. You are not your overwhelming to-do list. You are also not the conversation that you're worried about. You're not the transition you're in the middle of, and you're not the uncertainty you may be standing in. You are the one who is here right now in this body, on this earth, in this very moment. And she has ground. Always, always. It's there within you. And the ground has to come first before the emptying, the claiming, the loving, the articulating, the intuiting, the midwifing, all the keys that are coming up. It's all possible when you have ground to stand on. All of these keys become possible to turn, become able to unlock the essence of our soul. The root key makes the rest of the journey more possible. This is why we start here. Okay? So download that guide if you don't have it already, the 7 keys to reclaim your soul. What we explored today is just the beginning of these 7 keys. That was just the first one, the foundation. And it's the keys for unlocking the wisdom of your soul. There's more in the written guide, of course, some reflections, journaling prompts, deeper invitations to live into this in your daily life. It's a free companion to this podcast, and vice versa. The podcast, these audios are a companion to the guide. Each key has a written teaching, an activation, a practice, and of course, these audio episodes. So read along, journal alongside me, let the keys unfold at your soul's pace. In the link below at kimmariecoaching.com/reclaim, you will get your free guide. So be sure to check that out. Now, if you're sensing this work is something you might like to go deeper into, we fall off the wagon and return to old patterns so easily in the outer wilderness. We are constantly tempted to move away from that ground of our being, away from our soul. So I have a year-long soul sanctuary for women walking this journey in community so that we are consistent in our practice, so that we have regular support and ongoing guidance. And we can live into this not just in flashes and moments of insight, but as the actual ground of our lives. I'll share more about that in future episodes, I'm sure, but I want you to know about it. And there's a link in the description for that. When your soul is ready, the door is always open. In the meantime, you might just appreciate my free community and want to walk with kindred women doing this very thing, learning to find the ground of their being. It's a free gathering place away from social media, away from the noise. And it's also where I share first my new podcast episodes. There's free seasonal gatherings and reflections, ongoing soul support and articles, and just wonderful conversation that we're building up in that space. And that link is also below. Here's what I want you to carry with you when this episode ends. The ground beneath you may be shifting. Your body, your needs, your aspirations and expressions are likely shifting. The world you built your life on top of may be asking something different of you now. But the ground beneath those things, the deeper foundation, the inner ground, the ground that is your own body and soul, that's the presence on this earth in this moment. That ground has not shifted. It is here. It's always been here. And it will be here every time you remember to return to it. You don't need to fix yourself. You don't need to find it. You don't need to be different to deserve it. And you don't need to wait until your life feels easier to access it. You just need to feel your feet. Receive a breath. Let your roots find their way down. And remember that you belong here. You belong here. Take that with you. Know that next time we're going to explore the second of the 7 keys, the one called empty. And it may surprise you because in a culture that tells us to fill up with more strategies, more productivity, more progress, I am actually going to make a pretty strong case for the opposite, for the strange, sacred power of emptying and what becomes possible when we finally let ourselves do it. So stay tuned for that, and I will see you there. Until next time, keep tuning into the language of soul because soul knows the way.